Hey, welcome to another episode of the Hot Mess Podcast. I'm Devin, this is Stephanie, and here we talk about difficult topics in a casual format. So let's get going. I thought today, being that we've had different friends and family ask us about this, we had this as a big topic when we're youth pastors, but how should Christians date?
That's
So
interesting.
let's get into it. First off, dating has changed a lot since we were in the game. It used to be, I think now guys with confidence, if you have some confidence out there, guys, like, man, the world is your, I don't know, how do you say that? You're
What is
fishing
it?
your
You're,
pond or
you're.
something like that.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know what the
But
saying is.
if you have confidence
Ah.
at all, like you can do really well because there's just so few confident men. And then I think you have the opposite problem with the ladies, lack of with maybe a little too much confidence, and then you have some lack of confidence. I don't know, but it just seems like the world's upside down. So what are some ways that I think that, or that you think that we should like go about handling this?
About talking about Christians dating?
Yeah, Christians dating. Remember, I kissed dating goodbye.
Oh man, yeah.
Bad book.
I'm not a big fan.
First off, trash.
Did you read it? Did you read it?
I had to read. Yeah, I had to read. I did. I don't think I finished it because I hardly ever finish books, but I did get like deep into it with my girlfriend or courtship prior to Stephanie,
Ah, that's right.
because that was when courting was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, I think the way that courting was done, at least in that book, was hot garbage. Because basically, it was like girls' parents get to say so of everything. They set the rules. We didn't, it's weird to me that I did that in American culture because it's the it's antithesis of American culture.
Right.
And I think, like, first off, guys, for starters, let's ask this question: is kissing a sin? I would say you don't see that anywhere mentioned in the Bible at all. Kissing's not fornication, guys.
That's funny that that's what you jump in with.
Well,
The
because this is
kissing.
where these guys go, they're like, oh, kissing's a sin and all this stuff, and it's like, no, sex is sex and kissing is kissing.
Right.
So I don't know.
But that's like, but dating though, like the focus is
Yeah,
dating.
the focus is dating.
And how we should date. If we're talking about I Kissed Dating Goodbye, because that was it like early 2000s, late
Yeah,
90s? I don't
this
know,
would've
whatever it
been
was. It was
This would have
definitely
been
church
like
culture.
2004, 2005, 6, somewhere in there.
Yeah, during that time. But I think the main, like the emphasis of courtship, like they were presenting it, is that you have to
It's the
know
holy
that
way.
you're gonna marry someone before you ever go on like the first date.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying God can't speak to you before you ever date someone and tell you that that's the person you're going to marry. I'm just saying don't make a doctrine out of a personal experience, which I feel like is what happens, because that's one way that somebody, matched with their person, that
Yeah.
must be the way that God wants to do it. But like you said, that's not in the Bible, right? And it
We
puts
had the Duggars at the
undue
same
pressure.
time
It
with
puts
that.
undue pressure on a person to immediately know if they're supposed to marry someone, and it makes it serious right away. Like immediately, like first date, you just want to jump in the deep end. And I think that's not wisdom. I don't
would
think that's the
agree.
way to do things. Unless God tells you otherwise. So at no point am I saying that I'm God and I'm telling you how to do this. I'm just saying that culture is still in church, right? Because we don't talk about dating a lot, right? We
No.
have what the world says, which is like don't think about commitment at all. It's all about you.
Live together.
Yeah, do what's fun for you.
Live together and test the waters and see, but don't get married because then there's commit. To me, that was always the funny thing is like, I think the world's knee-jerk reaction to that is like ultra non-commitment, however, with commitment, because if you're living together with someone, I mean, there's obviously you're getting the commitment, or I guess the benefits of a committed relationship without the responsibilities, which never works out well.
Right.
So I think that's the big issue. I think one of the things that gets kind of overlooked, and I want to save some of what I'm thinking of is for another video, but I think it's, why does God, and why does in the Word are we told and pushed to abstain from sex before marriage? It's not because God hates us, and I think later on we'll do one about sin.
I think this is a whole different.
Yeah, we're getting out of the.
You need to stick with dating. Don't jump into other stuff.
I just think that this is important because it's one of those things where when we look at the Bible, we look at God's intention for us, and He wants what's best for us. He wants us to flourish and thrive. But there's not a lot dating, this whole concept. It's very cultural. And so I think from just looking at it in a practical sense, some of the best ways of going about it before that you're getting super serious with an individual is to set very clear boundaries from the get-go. Yeah. That way nobody is confused. Talk about what is completely off limits. Then you won't cross that. If you set up a border, you're less likely to cross it. And then I think that the next best thing to do too is, like Stephanie was saying, not to I don't know, man. It's with Christians, it seems like it's all or nothing when it comes to dating. You should know that you're going to marry. Well, you don't know someone until you spend a little bit of time with them, and it's wise to actually spend a little bit of time with someone before making any huge life commitments. So that way you know what you're getting yourself into, and I think the most important part of that is just spending time together with that person, but also seeing that person not with you and how they treat other people around you. So that way you can be like, okay, I'm ready to hook my horse up to this individual because. Well, I mean, just when
what does that even
mean? Because dating is part of the steps into finding that person that you want to marry, and then once you get married, I think our culture is flippant about a lot of things. I mean, I do think that in general now it seems like we take marriage a little bit more seriously, but rather than commit to marriage, we'll commit to living. People commit to living together. Mm-hmm. So I just think that that's kind of the way that I'd approach that. But I think is for dating advice, for meeting people. What if we're putting that out there?
For meeting? Okay, so hold on. So first, I think we need to understand dating ideally is still to find the person that you want to commit your life to forever, right?
We're not saying
because
be willy-nilly.
Yeah, and, I think if you are not at a place,
yes,
and this is totally fine. I support it actually. Where you are single and you're pursuing other things, and you're really not in a place where you want to find the person you're going to marry. You don't want, that's not what you want. You just want to have fun. Yeah. Then I would say do not date, right? Mm-hmm. Do not romantically one-on-one be with someone. Hang out. Absolutely. Do group stuff. Do that kind of stuff. But I think it's silly and foolish to think that you're not going to become attached emotionally to this, I mean, because we hear it, right? This is my best friend. It's my best friend. Right. And you become emotionally attached because you still are getting what ideally you're supposed to give to this committed person.
Situations have you ever heard work out really well?
Yeah, like it's just not wise, right? So I think that's the first step. Are you even wanting to find someone to marry? Like if not, that's great. Be single and embrace it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? And don't date. But then when you do feel like you're ready for that, right? Then obviously there's prayer involved, right? Because you want to invite God into this area of your life at all or as well, but not making it so serious that before you ever meet a person or have more than like a conversation, you're already like, is this the one or not the one, right? Like just like kind of let that to the wayside, like give it to the Lord, like God lead me, right? As I'm meeting people and stuff. Mm-hmm. But also just open yourself up to get to know that person, right? As a person. And then, you know, from there you can figure it. But anyway, so like before you even start dating, I think that's the mentality that's important to bring to dating culture, right?
Yeah.
We do things very different than the world.
We do.
But I think we should also do things very different than some church culture, which makes it super serious right away. Mm. And that's not healthy either, I don't think. So I'd say that's the mentality to approach it with, right? But now, okay, so now you want to be like, how do you meet people?
Well, I was going to say before that, I do think that you hit something on the head there with talking about it's okay to be single. I think church culture kind of like glorifies
being
definitely glorify being married.
Absolutely.
And it can be great.
Which is funny because Paul's literally like, I wish you'd all be single like me.
Yeah.
Because you could serve the Lord and not be distracted, right? With other stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, but let's be honest, that's not realistic. But it's true. In the church, it's like, well, obviously God wants you to be married. And being right married now
is like the best thing after salvation. In most people's eyes. And it's funny because being married can be great or it can be hell on earth. It can be it can be awesome or it can be the absolute worst. And, you know, I'm not saying that from personal experience, but I am saying it from the experience of others. You know, we've had a great marriage and that doesn't mean it's easy. We put in work. Mm-hmm. But we've had friends and family and close family who have not had that experience, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. And so I think there's just this, sometimes we glorify marriage over the fact of that, hey, God is our everything, right? So mm-hmm. I don't need Stephanie to complete me. I'm complete. And the Lord knows that I need her, so that's part of the process. And she's complete without me, because God is the one that does that. But He does know that we need each other. He doesn't realize that He made us with needs, and the Lord knows that about you. If you need somebody, but there are some people that are just cool being single, and you know, don't feel discouraged if that's you, or even if that's you for a season. Like, I don't think that, you know, you should, because I know a bunch of people who just, you know, they get down in the dumps because, you know, they see other people.
They haven't found their person.
And they haven't found their person. And so when is it going to be me, Lord? And they focus on that so much to where when the time comes, they have these huge expectations. And then after being married for a little while, they realize this actually isn't that great. Like, it's not.
Or it didn't solve all problems or something.
That I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I don't know. I think that's an important thing. I do think that we can give some advice in meeting and that kind of thing. The dating scene is wild.
I don't understand it, if I'm honest, because we didn't have, or at least I've literally never used a dating app.
Me neither.
Right. And I didn't sign up for eHarmony or anything like that. And I'm not saying don't do it or that it's wrong. I'm just saying our perspective is we've literally never done that. So
not trying to throw shade on that.
Don't know a whole lot. Like, I don't know how to navigate that, right?
It is wild.
I've experienced it vicariously through like siblings and cousins and stuff, and like we hear these
Friends.
stories, which is interesting, and that is definitely one way, and I think it's the most popular way probably at this point of meeting.
I miss old
people.
school, the way that I grew up. Like when I grew up, going to church, going to youth conventions, things like that. That was where, of course, I'm thinking from when I was a kid, because I got married at 24. So I mean, but those opportunity to meet people. So people just, it's a different world interacting. I think if I don't know, man. I think that part of me thinks that if you are a guy out there, and why not? Don't be afraid to just put yourself out there and say,
yeah, but what
hey,
does that mean?
How's it going?
Put yourself out there, because
here's
like
yeah, that's
what if
true.
you work from home? Right, you work from home, you go to church, but let's say you don't even have that many single people there, right?
Yeah,
Like maybe
3
there's
tables
one
at
other person
church.
or something, right? Like where are you supposed to meet them? Home
That's
Depot,
true.
the grocery store? Like you're
That
not
is
going to the
true.
club, hopefully, right? You're not going to pick someone because it's probably not your best bet there.
true.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you can't just be like, put yourself out there. Like, like
Well, maybe
how?
putting
Like
yourself-
what does that
okay,
mean?
So maybe putting yourself out there is using a dating app. I would say probably still the best thing with that is nothing wrong with it, but definitely, guys, just keep it ultra casual before you get to know the person, because, and even in getting to know the person, even if you're like, oh, this person seems really great, still just be eyes wide open that, hey, I probably don't know everything that's going on with them, don't know exactly where they're at with God, and so, it's just, I don't know, it's smart to just mucha take it easy with dating. I think it's one of those things.
I think chill the heck out.
And there's nothing
my advice.
wrong than just being like, hey, let's go get coffee, and also I'm gonna go get coffee with a few different people, because there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's good.
I read something one time and I thought this was brilliant, especially coming out from you date the one person and you know him, and all that, just like, oh, so much pressure and seriousness, is I think it was like 1950s, like where the parents were giving advice, and because they were talking to their grandparents at this point, like how did y'all date? Like what were y'all's rules when y'all were growing up? And they said the one rule that they were given is that they could, once they went on a date with someone, they could not exclusively date them and in a row. They had to go on a date with someone else before they could come back and date that other person, because it was meant to be like, enjoy the dating experience of getting to know a lot of different people.
Healthier culture.
Yeah, and not going 0 to 1,000,000 in like the first date, right? Instead being like, no, how about instead of thinking I need to up my romantic skills, how about you just work on your people skills, right? Because if we're honest, that's a part that's lacking, I think, a lot, especially since COVID. It like plummeted, right? Where people have a really hard time just having a conversation.
Yeah, only interact online.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's really anxious and they don't, and I think if you were more like that, just like, hey, instead of me putting the pressure of I have to find my person right now, instead maybe try to approach it as just a fun experiment, maybe, of being like, hey, let's go out and find out what kind of interesting people are running around, right? And in the midst of that, still praying like, Lord, I'm trusting you to at some point bring a person into my life. But there's so many different ways. I think that's the thing is I can't give you advice because our story is so different than like your sisters and my sisters.
I think we can give a little bit of advice. I think we could do like top 5 things not to do.
Oh, like when you're dating?
Yes, especially for dudes.
Like
Dudes.
dating,
You can
dating like casual dating?
Yes.
Or dating like you're now exclusively dating?
No,
Casual dating. Okay.
When you're just meeting the person.
Okay,
You're
okay.
not just like, you smell good.
No, please don't do
You
that.
smell so good
Well,
right
don't
now.
say it
Don't
like
don't
that.
do that.
And probably first date, probably don't do that at all.
Yeah, probably don't comment
I think
on
because
smell.
it's become synonymous with creepy.
Sounds
Like
creepy.
you tell me
I
now,
can say it.
you tell me now, you're like,
I
you
can say it
smell
in a way
great.
that's
I'm like,
not
yay, I
creepy,
showered.
But other people.
Like if
You
you walk up
smell
and be like, you
good.
smell good.
Yeah.
No, that's
No.
probably not a good
Instead of,
idea.
Hey man, you smell really good today. What is that?
Yeah.
You know, that's not.
But I think
tone.
there's other
tone
things.
is a lot to do
Other
with it.
things like
But, yeah.
good first compliments usually have to do with like your smile.
Yeah.
Or, you can even say you look really attractive or you look really pretty. Anything like that. Anything that's not like
Yeah. Yeah, you can
compliments are good.
Like
compliments
are good,
that's a
and
good
you
that's
can
a good
comment-
beginning.
And you can comment on what somebody's wearing, and in a non-creepy way.
Yeah,
be like,
in a
"Oh, I love your shirt. I love tacos."
This is the thing. This is the thing.
That
In
way,
a
that thing.
non-sexual
Yes.
way. And I think that's the thing is because dating in our culture is so sexualized that becomes like the mindset. Like if I'm complimenting you, it's you're hot. Like, fool, don't tell me that because I immediately know where your brain is. Okay, I don't want to hear that.
Instant creeper.
You can tell me you look so beautiful. Or even that you're very attractive, right? Because all that just tells me, in clear terms, is that I am in fact interested in you, at least physically speaking, which is important, right? But it's not. The message isn't immediately, I want to take you to bed, which is so common now, right? So compliments, great, not
No.
sexualized.
No. So
Stay away from those
statements.
Be friendly.
Yeah.
How about be friendly?
Be friendly. Be confident.
Good mercy.
Be confident. Yeah, being nice goes a long
Smile.
way.
Can we say
Asking-
smile?
Yeah, I would say yes. Okay, first avoid creepy comments is number 1 tip.
And if you don't know
be
if it's
friendly.
creepy, ask us and we'll tell you.
Yeah, if you don't know if it's creepy, type it down in the comment section below.
Don't do
and, that'd be fun. We can look at top 10 creepiest comments. Okay. So number 2, be nice, be kind.
Seriously.
Being kind goes a whole
Yeah.
long ways.
Like,
And,
by
and
being
now
kind,
being kind,
like
if
wanting them to have a good time,
Yes.
right? Because I think, like we said before, dating has become like, what can I get out of it? Am I having a good time? Are they going to whatever everything for me? Instead of really any thought to just making sure that person has a good time, right? Because even if you never become romantically involved, it's still be a decent person,
Yeah.
friends. Okay, be a decent human.
Which takes me to tip number 3, which is listen.
Listen, that's
Listening
great.
goes a
That's
long
a
ways.
great.
If
yes,
you listen,
that should be number 1, maybe.
if you listen and then you comment about what you listened,
Yes,
point.
so many points
And it's amazing how
because you're showing like that person's important.
yes.
Even if you never have a second date, never become romantically involved, for that brief amount of time, you have the
important in marriage,
ability,
too.
to either speak life into that person, right? To encourage them, to help them have maybe a better day, or you have the ability to speak death, right? To just like
Or be a day
bring
ruiner.
them down
A
and
Debbie.
like, right?
Downer.
So
No offense to
take
anybody
the
with name Debbie. I know
opportunity
some nice
to,
ladies out there.
yeah, show that person that they are in fact important.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3. What else?
Well, I said what? Don't be
Don't be
no
creepy.
statements.
Be
Be
nice.
nice.
Listen.
Okay. Comment on what you listen. Okay. I would say that. Respond. That's number 4. Respond to what you listen because no one's gonna know you're listening unless you're.
Yeah, these are skills
Putting that
also
into
you can
action.
practice. I know that sounds weird, but people have definitely fallen out of practice
Yes.
with.
People struggle.
So just if you don't
And
feel
then number
comfortable,
5,
just do it.
And number 5, and this is super important, this is be confident. Now, what is confident? It's not arrogant. It's not, oh, and not amazing, but I'm not. Confidence can look something like this. It can look, I'm not worried about getting my thought out. Now, I'm ADD, so you'll hear me from time to time
Squirrel.
jump in because that is my nature. But confidence is not me being like, oh, I have to push you out of the conversation so I can get out this thought real quick. Because what if I forget it? Confidence is that even if I forget that thought, really doesn't matter. And this is me trying to help out my ADD people or ADHD. We got an H in there now. I don't know why. I'm not hyper, but anyways. But confidence is not like pushing someone out, listening to them and knowing what you bring to the table, knowing that you have value. That's important just in general.
Yeah, I think
that's just going to help you out in life.
That confidence comes from Jesus,
Yeah.
right? Okay, because confidence is, like you said, it's not arrogance. At no point is confidence, I'm better than you or anybody else. It's simply, I know my worth and my value is found in the love of Christ and in how he's created me, and that he loves me in my imperfect state as I'm growing, right? And because I know that, I can come and meet new people and not be terrified of what that person thinks of me.
Yeah. And
because they're going to think what they think, but I don't have to change who I am to please that person.
And you don't
That's
have to be
confidence.
terrified about the situation either, because I know for all of us build up expectations in our minds. When me and Stephanie first started talking, like expectations started to build. And usually, like, if something were to kind of undermine those expectations, a lot of times with me is I just kind of be like, oh no, oh, what in the world? You know, like it would be easier for me to get overwhelmed. And I remember Stephanie saying, like, hey, you need to slow down. We were just starting to talk, and she was like, you need to put on the brakes, Joker. And guys, we're just talking here. We're actually physically together at all during this time. In fact, I was in a whole different state. But we're talking, and she's like, you need to chill out. And I'm like, oh, I'm going slow. I don't even know if you're willing to follow me yet. And that statement.
That's a different podcast.
That statement did something. But I'm just saying that was confidence that the Lord gives, because I wasn't actually thinking that that's like a huge deal. That was just me being like, yeah, I honestly don't know if you're willing to follow me. So
I feel like we went off the rails a little bit there, though.
No, I don't think so.
No?
Anyways, maybe we did. But anyways, that's it for today's. I think we covered dating pretty well. So good luck to you guys out there who are dating.
Brief,
if you
snapshot.
have something that you'd like for us to talk about, go ahead and put it down in the comments below. And you can also, I think I'll have my email or something in the description where you can email us. But if you've enjoyed this, give us a like, share this video with somebody if you know that they'll enjoy it too. And if you didn't enjoy us, tell us why, because we always like that interaction. So thanks, guys. Hope you have a good one. We'll see you next time. Adios.
Bye.